Got it. Okay. Okay, so I'll just get going, and if you guys have any questions as we go through, I'll try and pause. I don't want to steal your day, but so we'll try and go through it, and then I'm going to share my screen, and we'll try and move through this, and then get on to the meat and potatoes pretty quickly. So just a little bit about Teema title. Just an agenda of what we're going to do. Who is Teema title? Title and escrow services provided, and then our loyalty partner program, which is what we think separates us from what else is out there, at least in the current marketplace. So Teema title it's made up of, we have three founders, myself, a title sales rep, Zach Monroy, and then a third founder, financial backing, Brian Antenbring, who actually has another company called Teema Staffing Solutions, which is a headhunting company. And my name's Rob Conway. Sorry, I am. After the last 11 years, I've been a real estate broker. I have a little boutique brokerage out in the West Valley. Currently separating myself from it and diving right into the title and escrow side of things, because I see this huge opportunity to develop and help grow agents' business who partner with Teema in a way that's not out there, and something I wish I had, and this company's being designed through an agent's eyes. So we do everything else that title and escrow services provide. We can do design, flyers, and marketing pieces. We have an app called Teema Track, which is a farming app. It's amazing. It's better, in my opinion, than what else is out there. One comparable would be the Fidelity app that you can put on your phone, but for farming purposes, it's really extensive, and any of our reps can go through, have a Zoom call or come out and meet in person and show how the farming app works. And it's very specific. So if anybody does do that, mailer or social media marketing, it's a powerful tool. You can really target in on your audience without just sending out to the whole neighborhood. You can zero in on who you want. So and then of course our loyalty partner program, which if you guys are familiar with what's called a JV out there, we don't call it a joint venture, because our loyalty partner program is that we're selling off 12.5% of our company to agents and lenders, mainly agents. There will be a lender component of it, but it's really for agents to a few different reasons, is so that they can own a piece of the company that they're sending business to. We have to write in an escrow company on every contract. So why not own part of that company that you're directing business to and benefit via dividend off of the profit and the profit of the company? So we think this is a pretty powerful tool. We'll go into the actual numbers of it all, but the idea is that agents will want other agents in their circle, or their team, their brokerage, competitors, to join them, because at the end of the day, this all goes into one company, and everybody can own a piece of that company and benefit monetarily off of it. And it's RESPA proof, because you own a company, you're receiving a dividend just as if you owned GE or any other company. So that's what we'll talk about real quick. The founders, I gave you a little bit about that in our background. So we have a sales rep experience, we have a real estate broker agent experience, and then we have Brian, who grew a staffing company from him and his wife to, they have, I think, almost 300 employees. It's a multi-million-dollar company. And he took that staffing model and disrupted it. Traditionally, a staffing company is, you go into a big office, it's a boiler room mentality. you get leads and you make 30-40% and a small base, and then that's that. Well, he switched all that. He said, no, I'm going to hire the best people. I'm going to pay them 80%. I'll keep 20. And he changed the whole way that does it, and he was able to grow it. So we're a lot of these culture and business minded things that he did there, we're implementing on this side. Part of the reason why we wanted to do this was because I personally felt that the title and escrow world is very top heavy. It's very, the profits really are at the top and not shared. But also I think that the people who work in it and are good at it are, if you compare it to anyone else in the real estate sector, they're paid much less for the same amount of work they're doing. So we saw a little avenue of how we could go in and recruit good people, pay them, share the word and share the wealth with our partners, our agents, our lenders, and our employees. So the LPP is probably what I'm going to get into here. So the loyalty partner program, I'll call it the LPP. It's basically our shareholder program. So every agent, based off of their production, we have to determine where they fall in a tier based off production or how many escrows that they can send. Some agents do a high production, but maybe they only can steer 20% of their escrows to a specific company, or maybe they don't do that much, but they do a really high number, like 60 or 70. And that also changes with the market. And, right now, seller listing agents have, the hand on that. I think we're seeing that shift right now. But in general, we will look at an agent's past 12 months and say, okay, we would expect X amount of escrows from you. Let's just use, John Doe. Let's say he falls in, he falls in tier 7. You guys can see my screen? Okay. The average 18.75. It's, a good agent, maybe has an assistant or a transaction coordinator or both, or maybe a showing agent. Let's say this is based off of $500,000 average purchase price, 38 annual transactions at a 40% conversion, which is a good partner, is 15 transactions. So if we sat down with John Doe, we'd be like, hey, John, we think that you could send us 15 if you were, committed. We would allow you to purchase up to 20,000 shares of the company at 25 cents a share. It's a $5,000 investment. And if we are doing roughly 100 closings a month as a company, your annual dividend would be $12,500. That dividend's paid out quarterly. This is on a 100 transaction closing per month for the company. Very doable, especially even for a newer company like ourselves. I should actually preface this with, we are a new company, but we aren't new to the industry. Our escrow officers have a lot of seasoning. We have two escrow officers who have over 30 years experience. We have 2 that have 15 plus years, and EOs with 2 to 3 years, EO assistants, I should say. So we've headhunted our staff, and we're, so we're new, the company itself, the name, but not the people running it. So I just want to back up. So 100 escrows a month. We're going to be having our 4th sales rep will be hired on June 1st. So getting to 100 closings a month. Getting to 100 closings a month is not we'll be there within a month or 2. So what I want to focus on is we have to sell shares to be RESPA compliant. You have to purchase an investment, and so that we can issue shares, and that so you can receive dividends. Otherwise, we're going to be violating RESPA agreements. There's a lot of different companies out there, escrow companies, who are doing a pay to play. We think that is just a matter of time before someone whistleblows that and takes down someone's livelihood who's entering those. I've personally been offered those before, and from a big name company, and I know it exists, and it sounds good. You can justify it and say, hey, I'm sending you all this business. I should be monetized for it. I should be able to monetize it. But this is the only legal way to do it. It's purchase stock in a company, receive a dividend. So we're sitting here. So John Doe's says, I like it. $5,000. It's a 225% return, or whatever that number is. Sounds good. He comes to us 6 months from now and says, I hate you guys. I hate your, company, blah, 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 blah. These shares are held in an escrow account. So at any point, an agent can sell them, sell their shares back to the company and cash out. We don't want this money in our shareholder agreement, which we can provide anybody who's interested in. It specifically states that this is not used for G&A or operating expenses. This is strictly an escrow account that we hold so that if someone does want to sell, then we can purchase it back. So this is good and all and well, and this is a fine number for John. But let's fast forward to a year from now. Let's say we're doing 4,000 transactions a year. So about 350 transactions as a company. We've added a couple agents, no problem. Reps. We have more agents feeding the company. And I should also mention, because I know someone's probably going to ask, there's only one P&L in this. So if you're familiar with any JV programs, let's say Magnus Title, they'll find 15 to 20 agents who can do about 50, they can commit to 50 deals a month, and they set up a joint venture. Well, the joint venture then owns 49% of that title company. It's why you hear these random title companies out there when you're doing a cross deal. Let's call it XYZ Title. 15 agents own 49% of that. The only revenue that goes in that title policy, or that company, is the title policies. So escrow fees and any other small little junk fees, we'll call them, they go to Magnus. So you're literally, the only revenue is from 15 agents and what they're sending to this title company in title revenue. No other agents sending their deals there unless they're involved in it, because there's no benefit for them. So they're only as good as those 15 to 20 agents. Still, it's legal. They're owning a company, they're owning shares, and they're getting a dividend. But it's only as good as those 15 agents. So in order for their dividend to dramatically increase, all the agents within there would have to dramatically increase their own business. Not the case with Teema Title. Teema Title will grow as we grow, into different markets. I mean, we have a rep up in Prescott Valley. We intend to go that rep in Prescott Valley is in Yavapai and Coconino. So that market will be attacked, the Tucson market. But Phoenix is by far the biggest market. We'll have 3 reps in starting June 1, and we'll keep acquiring good reps out there, book of business. So this number will go up. When it does, I can't tell you, but if we're doing 350 closings a month, now John Doe's $5,000 investment, his one-time investment, he's now receiving a dividend yearly of $37,600. So $3,000 a month. So $9,000 check every quarter for he's not committing to 45 deals anymore. He's just staying in his lane at his 15 because he only owns 20,000 shares. We just would expect him to drive 15 deals. That's kind of the loose agreement. Now we can't sign an agreement that says you do this and you get that, because then again, that's a RESPA violation. But we do have in our shareholder agreement that we could purchase shares back if John Doe only sends us 5 and it's been, we look back a year and say, hey, you sent us 5 deals. We were kind of looking, this only works if you can send what you've committed to. And then we'll say, hey, we'll go down and we'll buy, 15,000 of your shares back and you can hold on to 5,000. Conversely, if John Doe, I'm going to put it back at 100 so we can see the actual entry. Conversely, if John says, hey, in the last year, I've sent you 25 deals, and we're saying, okay, well, would you like to buy 10,000 more shares or 12,500 more shares? Sure. And then, so that whatever that price, and then now he's in this tier as far as what total shares he owns on that. One other thing, I'll go back to a 350 company-wide closing average month. Looks like where these numbers, where this dividend is derived is from total revenue. We back out G&A expenses of 35%. Our earnings before income tax and appreciation is 12 million. The dividend will always be 25% of that EBITDA. So this dividend, this box here, this 3 million at this scenario is paid out to the shareholders. It just so happens to be a 1.88 per share dividend. Now where this really gets crazy, and again, it doesn't involve John Doe to increase. He's just like, hey, I'm gonna do 15 deals at least, or 14 or 16, or this agent's gonna understand the more I send there, the better for me as a shareholder. So I'm gonna tell my other agents I know that I'm in a circle with, or I'm gonna tell my broker, I'm gonna tell a new agent, or this is going to, agents will become mini salespeople for the company because they own and they're directly benefiting from it. But when we go up to, I don't know, let's say 1,000 closings a month in Teema Title and Escrow, we're talking statewide, with 8, 9, 10 reps in the state selling. It's a doable number. There's over 10,000 sales just in Maricopa County every month, including MLS and off-market deals. So we're talking statewide, we're less than 5% of the market share. And now John Doe, his 5,000 investment is now yielding him $100,000 because we have 11,000 closings per year. He hasn't done anything different other than stay in his lane and do the production he normally does. This does not exist anywhere else out there. There's no JV that can do that. The only way a JV could do that is if they added more agents to the current, to their current title, but that's just not the way that they are set up. Another difference between this and a Magnus title or Landmark title or Premier title, those are the 3 big ones doing these JVs, is that they don't allow you to have a sales rep. So you basically, because that's a cost to them, they pull them off the agents in those JVs. So you're no longer getting the attention of the sales rep, which in my mind, I look at a sales rep as a business coach. He's going to tell me, hey, what's working out there? What are people doing that are successful? Here's a new CRM that you should take a look at. It's going to help you grow your business. Or any of the tools, the farming tool that we have, any of those tools and resources get taken away from those agents in the JV. I know I almost joined a Landmark JV, and I know exactly what it was. I was told I won't have my sales rep after I joined the JV. So we're looking at this as we started this company being very unselfish. We know that there's a lot of money to be made out there. We think there's a better way to do it. Agents are responsible for driving the business. So why not own a piece of the company? And why not, acquire a good sales rep who does, 100, 150, 200 in gross fees every month and pay them more than the competitor. There's enough meat on the bone to be able to accomplish this in the title and escrow world. I don't know why other companies don't do it, but we see an avenue to go and disrupt this. And keep in mind, all these numbers are based off of a $500,000 purchase price and a $4,500 revenue per deal. So that number is, if we start going valley wide, that number goes up, especially say East Valley and Phoenix. I mean, we're basically driving these numbers off of a West Valley average deal that we've seen, so far today. Oh yeah, and then one other thing, and then I guess we can kind of Q&A it. So we have currently an office in Litchfield Park. That's kind of our headquarter office. We're in the works to get the 3 WeWork spaces. So we'll have the 3 addresses for the WeWork. That's Tempe, Phoenix, I think Scottsdale. And then in the meantime, we are also looking for 2 more commercial properties to purchase, mixed retail with some vacancy so we can put in our office. That's what we've done here at in Litchfield Park. And we have an office up in Anthem because one of the owners has a building there as well. And we're going to purchase something in the Southeast Valley and then one in Phoenix, centrally located, possibly North Scottsdale. We feel like we want to have 5 offices that are strategically located, but as we all know with COVID, less and less people come into the actual office to sign. We'd rather be lean on our balance sheet and pay higher dividends. But in the meantime, we're not going to let not having an office in an area get in the way. We comp all the mobile notary signings will be comped if it's someone who wants to go in an office and save that fee. We're not going to let that get in the way. We realize that is an objection, and we have no problem. We've already negotiated with our signing companies that they'll lower the fees in those instances, and we don't have a problem eating that cost when we don't have a space, within 20-30 minutes for them to drive through and drive to and do a in-person signing to save that cost. So we're actively looking though for space because we do have some employees scattered through the valley. So that's probably going to happen within the next 6 months for having actual physical office space permanent outside of WeWork. So gonna leave it. That was kind of the crash course on it. I'm sure people have questions, and if we don't have time or you've got to go, or I'll Mara has all my information to send out, and I can one-on-one answering these questions. I'm really passionate about this. I mean, I'm leaving I fall in, John Doe was me, so I fall into this category, but I'm leaving it because I feel so passionate about this and how obviously as an owner of a company, you can see the advantage of being that, but also to supplement agents. I mean, this would have been a great tool for me to have 5 years ago when I started increasing my marketing budget to go from 5 million a year to 10 million to 15. It would have been nice to have something to offset this. You can scale it up. You could hire an assistant. It's extra money. And in this market where we should all expect 25% less transactions, if we're being real, that's what everything's projected from all the top outfits out there that try and project the next year. So this is a good stopgap to make up for any lost income. There will be agents who gain market share, and there will be some that lose, but if we're doing the same thing we did last year, we're probably going to feel a little less. And then not only that, but everybody's offering 2 and 2.5 or 2.25 and 2.5 commissions. I mean, finding a 3% commission now is like, you know, finding a diamond. It's, you know, it's a unicorn. So hopefully that changes and it's like that forever. But if we're going to do, if I normally do 40 transactions and now I'm doing 30 and I'm getting average, instead of 2.675 average commission, I'm now at 2.25. Even though prices have gone up, we can do the math. It's we're going to make less if we do the same. So, but does anybody have
Hey,
any?
Ron.
Yeah.
So we have agents that join us from other states that are producing or have produced in other states. So do
Yep.
you guys look at their transactions from that?
Yeah,
Does
I
that
mean,
count?
I think so. It's a different market. I think this is not a hard and fast. This is a basis, right?
Okay.
So, hey, this is your base. So what do you do for marketing? Well, I did word of mouth. It's like, well, you did word of mouth in Washington. How are you, you know, do you know, we'd have to have that kind of discussion. Like realistically, what do you think you can send? And then, you know, I think for those instances, we probably look at maybe not quarterly, but maybe 6 months and say, hey, how are you doing? Obviously we don't want to buy shares back from any agent.
Right.
But we also don't want to be paying someone way more than they're delivering. I mean, this only works if people understand, all right, this is how it works. You know, I fight for every escrow, and if it goes there, it's going to get, you know, if you're trying, you're going to do 30 to 40%. You're going to be able to push that, right? And then conversely, when we get those deals, our reps are trained to contact the other side that's not in the a shareholder, right? And then we can explain to them, hey, yeah, you know, this is your first transaction with us. Hey, you should take a look at this, and we'll try and grow it that way too. But yeah, I think with agents coming in from out of state, it probably is going to depend. Like if they're a farmer, you know, maybe they don't miss a beat. If they're you know, they get business because they coach little league and they know everybody, you know, they volunteer and they know everybody. Well, they're going to have to start over from scratch. So I think that just is a individual conversation.
Mhm.
This tier is, it's a baseline. So for instance, I did 67% in the last 12 months. I did 67% of my transactions were sent to my preferred title company. So if I change this, I have to share. Can you guys see my screen?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
So if I change it, I'm in this bucket here. I'm in tier 7, but if 67 was the bar for everybody, then in this tier, we would expect 25 transactions, right? So instead of doing that, we set the baseline here. And you say, you know, Rob, you were really good. You actually fall into tier 9, even though you didn't do 27 million in production. Like we can have that conversation. You know, this is.
I like that this is based off of agents actually working because, you know, it's you want to make money off of working, you know, I think that's always good. And then if you build a team up, I think that's even more beneficial. So,
right. And we had people come to us before. Ideally, we don't want to go to brokers and then have the brokers deal with it. This should
right.
be
Agent,
an individual agent,
Mhm.
wherever they go, these are their shares.
Yeah.
You know, if you retire, that's probably the time to cash out.
Well, I even thought of that. So I was talking to some of our agents. If you're going to retire, then you should have a team built up and you could have your name on the contracts with your team underneath that. So however you do it. So that way you still look like you're in production and your name is still on the transactions with the team.
Right.
I mean, that's what a lot of the big teams do anyway. So
yeah, as long as the shares equal the roughly anticipated number of annual closed escrows,
yep.
we're not gonna have a problem with it. Now, if one of the team members wants to buy in, then we probably say, hey, you probably need to buy shares from your team lead. But this share price too, I mean, at a quarter, as this grows and grows and grows, we're gonna want the best agents.
Yeah.
as we get towards, because we'll be capped at 2,000 shareholders, because then we're playing by a different set of rules with the SEC. So we can go up to 2,000 shareholders, so lenders and agents that own this. Well, as we add and add and add, this 25 cent, maybe it's 50 cents, maybe it's $1. You know, we don't necessarily want the monies, but we want the commitment, the skin in the game, and we also want quality partners or agents.
Mhm.
So then, you know, if you go into retirement and you don't have a team, you're like, hey, I could sell these Teema shares for 25,000 shares from a 20,000 shares from a $5,000 investment. I made all this money in the dividend for the last 10 years, and now it's $1.50. I'll sell mine to, you know, another agent for that price or whatever. It's sellable.
That's cool. How are you guys in handling commercial? Are you guys prepped for commercial real estate?
Yeah, we have Kathy Joe is our branch manager. She has commercial experience. She did it for a number of years. She's mainly does residential, but she did it for years. And then our title officer is worked for 5 years as a commercial title officer. So I would say, yeah, if we're not going to go out and straight advertise, but if we're handling, 3, 5, 10 deals at a time, that's totally doable. I mean, if it becomes a consistent, then we would just go out and get and separate a commercial division and just hire out 2 people for that.
Okay, good to know.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any other questions? You guys are quiet. Do you want agents to reach out to you then to get the paperwork? How does that work?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you want, I guess, I guess you would, unless you sent me the roster, how about you just pass out my contact information?
Okay.
And you could CC me on it. And then, yeah, we would just, I can share the MOU and the subscription agreement, and you have the original of that. You can share that as well. But yeah, if anybody has any specific questions, what we, anything about this program or not this program, what do we do? I want to learn more about Teema Track, which is, again, if you farm or you do social media marketing or reverse prospecting, it's really powerful. I mean, you can go in your farm, find out everybody who likes pets in your farm and is on social media, and do an ad just for them. And then it takes like 3 minutes. It's super fast, and that way you're just specifically, it has all the analytics that you have that you do if you did Facebook ads or Insta ads or whatever, but you can pull up from your farm. You can say, no, this neighborhood that I actually drop mailers in every 3-4 weeks, I could actually hit them, those same people up in a social media ad and hit them from both fronts. Or it's efficient, it's inexpensive, and we can train an agent to use it. And it comes with an app that you can install on your phone. So if you're in the field and someone's like, well, what would my net cost be? There's a net sheet on the app, so you can do buyer, seller net sheets in the field on the fly, and access all the other farming information on it. So
well, and then I know Jen reached out to you guys because she was doing an open house, and you guys got her a flyer within 24 hours. You emailed it over to her because she could just print. So, and it's been hard to get marketing open house flyers.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is. That's I think maybe just they're bombarded, and I know that some of these companies have cut back on staff, and maybe they're trying to outsource it. Or I mean, we have a media company that can turn around stuff really quickly. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're contracted at this point, but we have them, you know, like you said, 24-hour turn time on anything, any design product. You know, if we're talking print, then that's a different story. But as far as
Yeah.
design, you know, open house flyer, I mean, what are you going to print, like 30,
Mhm.
40, you know, but at least you can get the actual design product turned
Yeah.
around and then printed and done, you know, if you decide to do a last minute open house.
Yeah, that was huge. Jen needed help, so. Cool.
Yeah, and I mean, the LPP is our difference. I guess it's our value proposition ad, you know, but we're doing the Teema track. We're our different services as an escrow company are there as well. We're not trying to, you know, just throw this out there and then say, hey, you guys, like, we're not going to provide good service because you're going to, you know, you're getting a piece of the pie.
No.
This is
Yeah.
we have grand plans for this, and the early adopters are really going to do well when we get to, you know, 5,000 and you know, 6, 8, 10,000 closings in a year. So,
And you guys are looking for some really good escrow officers also, right?
yeah, so a lot
Okay.
of people we've spoken to. So there's up in Prescott, there's a guy who does about 60 million, and our rep is really close with his transaction coordinator. Well, their big thing is they love their escrow officer, and we already told her, okay, find out what she's making and we'll make an offer if you're just going to bring her over, right? So a lot of this is, it's almost the way this is set up, because we're paying our reps more than anyone out there. And when I say more, substantially more. It can be double if the agents are doing if reps are doing 250 or 200, actually 150 and up, it's actually double what they would make at any other company in the basis points. So we're going to acquire little books, mini books of business out there by just showing them, hey, here's our comp plan. Hey, we also have this loyalty partner program that you can sell out there. So it's going to happen. It's just, okay, when do we get to 5,000 transactions a year? When do we get to this and that? And in that acquiring of reps or revenue generating EOs will be, yeah, just hiring.
Mhm.
So yeah, if someone has a really good EO, we'd like to talk to them because our compensation plan it's aggressive. So oh, one more thing, we do have a Zoom. We do have a Zoom Teema track training next Tuesday. I can send you the flyer for that.
Yeah, please.
And then we'll record it. So yeah, we'll record it and send you the recording in case anybody can't make it. But
Okay.
it'll be it's really good. I mean, I can't say enough about it, especially if anyone farms. You know,
Okay.
obviously the word of mouth agent or the book of business agent, they might not find any value, but if anybody who's marketing will wanna check it out, because it's very analytical. So
Okay.
and it actually kind of acts as a CRM almost too. So it's got a couple different facets of it. So, and I'll send you that flyer. I'll email you that flyer, and then I'll email you. I'll resend the memorandum of understanding and the subscription agreement, and then
Okay.
agents can just reach out to me if they want to have a quick chat about moving forward.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Do you
Anyone
guys
else?
have any other questions or anything? Okay. Sweet.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you guys for your time. I know it's our time is valuable,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, reach out and I can get you all the information you need.
All right.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Rob.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.